Hey guys, long time no see, right? Here's a big update for you. It's not exciting, it's not pretty, but it's necessary for the long term. I'm talking about the merging of Remix and React Router packages in React Router 7. So there's this blog post that I created called Upgrade to React Router 7 in SaasRock 1.5. And here I talk about the migration and some of the things that change on this version, such as React Router 7, but also this new chat.cn UI sidebar. The default is now this one, which you can see it's from chat.cn. And you can access the preview sidebars with this, so you can see how it looks. This was the first sidebar, and there's V2, the last sidebar. And now V3 is the default one. You can change that on app layout. And also, this is minor, but Enterprise is a long name. So I'm changing from SaasRock Enterprise to Pro. And also a few other things that you can see actually this on the changelog. I will leave all the things that changed, but just so you know, there's now this pricing page and this blog page, because before it was a dynamic page. So it was handled by these page blocks dynamic feature. And it was nice. It was to prove that you could build page blocks and then have specific blocks loading from the loading data from the backend and put it anywhere. Like in the landing page, I have a pricing block that is not tied to the pricing page, if you know what I mean. But anyway, let's start by upgrading to React Router 7. I will follow all of these steps, which you can read on the blog post. The first thing that you need to do is create a new branch. I'm gonna upgrade the SaasRock.com project. So you can see that right now my version is 1.4. So I'm gonna create a new branch called Upgrade React Router 7, but I'm gonna rename this to React Router 7 because I already migrated it to make this blog post. So now I'm going to pull the latest changes. Since I haven't actually done this, you will need to run like this: git pull upstream main with no fast forward. But in my case, I have it on the dep branch. So this is how it looks for me. Now, this will give a ton of merge conflicts as well as staged changes. What is it doing? I guess I did not pull from the correct one. It's from the dep branch. But remember, you need to do it exactly like this, assuming you actually set up the upstream like on this guide, right? But anyway, here are the merge changes, conflicts, and the stage changes. If you're in the Pro Edition or Enterprise, you should have like 1,000 or so files on stage, and on the core, you should have around 900. Now, let's start by fixing the package.json. This is because I want to install the new dependencies, which basically changes from Remix run to React Router packages. So let's start with that package.json. Now you can see here that there are conflicts because the name, I rename it to SaasRock and I changed this to Pro. But I recommend that you accept both changes and remove the one that you don't like. For example, in my case, I want to keep my name, SaasRock, not SaasRock Pro, and the version is now 1.5. Now, do the same thing for the following packages. Accept both changes and keep the one with the highest version. So in this case, there's this one, so I'm going to remove the top one. And now, in this case, we don't need remix run, but this will be handled by the code mod that we're going to see. in a few seconds. Vercel Remix, I'm gonna accept the incoming change, which is remove that package because it's not supported just yet. Accept both changes, keep the one with the highest version and move on. And the last one is both changes. Okay, so now what's next? Copy all of these lines, which would basically clean your node modules cache, delete the node modules folder, the package.json file, and move everything to React Router packages. Now this will take a while for me because my Wi-Fi is downstairs, but I can talk about the next things. Now, Fly, if you're deploying to Fly, this will also have a conflict because I renamed the package, especially if you're on the Pro Edition, Enterprise Edition. So I suggest you to accept the current change so the app name is not changed. Now, once you save this file, you can click this plus so it goes to the stage changes. And now let's keep fixing. In this case, both changes, and it's actually a blank line. So going to that. Now for the log, I always accept all current and then save the file and then add it to the stage changes because it's, or delete it, or just delete the file entirely because it's updated on this npm install. And since I already fixed this package.json, I can add it to the stage changes. Now the README, I deleted most of the things because this was the quick start guide for SaasRock. I think it was for 0.3 version. So I didn't like having features that I no longer support. So if you have a custom README, of course, keep the current change. But in this case, I'm gonna accept all the incoming changes, which is actually removing all of these lines. And here's a little bug on my machine, but this is already fixed, so it should go to the stage changes, but it's taking a while. Yeah, it's running. I need to save this file again and add it to the stage changes. Now, for entry client, in this case, I have a conflict because I have Sentry installed. So in this case, I'm gonna accept, what do I do? I guess incoming change is the best way because it's grabbing the new way of importing the packages from React Router. But you need to be careful and import whatever was left out. In this case, use effect, use location from, well, be careful here as well because it's trying to import from Remix Run, but it should be from React Router. And use matches from React Router. And I'm not sure if this is something you shouldn't see, but anyways, it's just Sentry and it's on the client, so this is visible on the front end anyways. So what else? Globals. So this changed because I added a few classes. In my case, you can see chart 1, chart 2. I don't remember from what UI library, but I'm gonna accept both changes because I added these sidebar classes that are needed for the new CN sidebar component. So both changes, this is pretty easy. Now the root, since I'm using Sentry, you can see that I should not export the default function. But if you're not using Sentry, this will not be a merge conflict. So I'm gonna keep the incoming change and remove the export default function. Yeah, just like that. And moving on to the next one. In this case, I have a merge conflict because on the page size options, I added 200. So I'm gonna keep the current change and change manually to 1.5. Or you can keep both changes, keep the ones that you need. That's another way. Plan server, in my case, I don't need to generate the plans from scratch for SaasRock.com because I already do that from admin pricing page. So I'm gonna accept the incoming change, but in this case, it's missing the currencies import. Okay, moving to the next one, usage-based units. I guess if you are using this file, you need to keep your version and use it correctly on your project. But in my case, I never used it, so I'm gonna delete the file. And package.json should be already fixed. Now for all of these ones, I'm assuming is related to Remix run packages. Well, not in this case. So I'm gonna accept incoming, incoming, incoming. And yeah, that's fixed. Infinite moving incoming. Well, I'm not sure what I upgraded for SaasRock.com here, so I'm gonna accept my current change to not mess around with my implementation. So now this should be pretty simple. And sparkles, current change from React, posts list. Yeah, as you can see, fixing the conflicts, you can either accept current change or incoming change, and whenever you have an error, you can do the other way around or fix the imports, right? So I'm gonna go to another interesting one. No, I actually need to finish this, so I guess I will do that. Accept current change, although it should be maybe incoming change, incoming. And here I'm missing this import from React router. And what else? These I will keep my current change because no, I'm gonna accept the incoming one because this is just for hiding pro features on the core edition that I changed for SaasRock.com. Now this is not necessary to be incoming. Fake blog posts as well, current change is not really important. The CRM, I already did some improvements for my branch. As you can see, everything is pretty easy with current change or incoming change, depending on if it changed, like in this one. It's changing from Remix run package to React router. So of course I need to accept the incoming change. So that's one's easy, incoming, but we have another one here. And I'm guessing all of these must be, yeah, I cannot accept incoming changes here because as you can see, I'm having my title translated, my meta tag title translated. And if I accept the incoming change, it will change the title to SaasRock demo, which I don't want. So I'm gonna keep the current change. So even though it's easy, you need to be careful of what you're doing. For example, here I have a default showcase for my for this block, but if I accept the incoming change, it will replace that with that testimonials block, and I don't want that. So let's accept current. Rows new route should be incoming. No, because I actually changed this route for my SaasRock implementation on this project. So I'm gonna accept the current change. But here I'm gonna remove this unused import. So for crisp incoming, because it's importing from a new package, fixing this import. Survey form, I'm gonna accept incoming. Actually here, I'm gonna keep the current change because I added an input text rows number. So the import I accept from the incoming, and the actual implementation in this case, because I overridden the functionality for service, I accept the current one. So current fake service, also current. Actually, this was from incoming because it's just the enterprise name changed to pro. Auth service, current change as well, because, okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and rename this JSON to Response.json. Is a step, how do you say, a late step on this guide. Now this is removing the JSON. So I'm gonna keep the current change because, as you can see, I'm using a translated title, but I'm gonna remove the JSON function. What about the change log? I'm gonna keep everything current and fix it manually because I don't want to mess that with my implementation. So removing this import and then removing the JSON function, and that's it. Forgot password is current change and removing the JSON function. So here it's the landing page. So I'm gonna keep both changes, and here the incoming change, because use typed loader data and use typed action data is no longer necessary from the remixed typed JSON package. So incoming is just using loader data and action data. But here, I think I have it commented. Yeah. So what else? Accept both changes and move on. Privacy policy, current change because I have the title translated. Register also both changes, and here current change because it's the title again. Removing this unused import. Now reset, current change, and we're almost there. 14 files to go. And here I need to keep my current implementation and remove the JSON, or change it to response.json. What else? Let me open the door for my dog. Because he was spinning around and around and around. Okay, so both changes because I need both imports, and that's it. Terms and conditions, current change because again the title is translated, but I don't need this JSON function because it was deprecated. You can see here that it was removed from the remix run node package, so it's not even on the React Router package. So incoming change, and let's see, we need to fix this import which comes from React Router. And this is for the surveys. So I'm gonna keep everything from my current implementation because I don't know what I did differently. Oh, but here is adding permission here. So I guess incoming change was the better option. And fixing these imports. And let's see what's missing here. Also the imports. And this unnecessary package. And do the same thing, but now I know I need to accept the incoming changes because it's not overriding any functionality that I implemented, but it's improving it. So again, incoming, but you need to be very careful of not just blindly accepting the current change or incoming change because you may have done a specific implementation on a specific route or function or service file or even a database model. So all of these changes are quite scary, but necessary for the SaasRock future, if you know what I mean. Like in this case, surveys in SaasRock, I have it on roadmap at survey, but the default is at survey. So I need to keep my current change. Otherwise, my service will no longer work. My link, incoming, incoming, incoming. Almost everything is incoming unless I did something very different. Now in this case, incoming, and that fixes it. No, I need to fix this import. And finally, the dashboard for my tenants. I'm gonna accept the current change for everything because I know that the dashboard is something that I customized heavily. So I need to find and replace manually the functions that give error. Like in this case, use type loader data should be use loader data and import from React Router. That's it. And app configuration, I'm gonna keep the current change. Yeah. And finally, translations. Now these translations, you should keep your current change. Otherwise, it will grab new things from the new release and remove your translations, obviously. And finally, the translations for Spanish. And I apologize if this is something that messes with your translation keys, but it's a breaking change, so it's better now than never. So that's it. I'm gonna commit all of these changes, even though this process is not finished, but I'm gonna move to the next step, which is running the official migration script. Now you can notice that if I find remix run packages, they are still used on almost every file. So the codemod is gonna update that to React Router. Let's see. And I like doing this codemod script without any changes. That's why I committed previously my initial migration changes. Now you can see that it's now finished, I think. No, it's still doing it. But let's see what it changed. It's changing from remix run to React Router. And it's almost the same change on every changed file. Yeah, let's go ahead and wait until this is done. But I think it's already done, even though it's not releasing the terminal cursor. Okay, now it's done. So I can say and add a commit called React Router codemod and add these changes. Now I'm gonna bring back to life this remix run server runtime package that was uninstalled by the codemod. This is because the remix auth package from Sergio is still dependent on this package, so I cannot actually delete it, otherwise the application won't work. So okay, so before doing that, you may want to do these uninstalls first. And this v1 route convention used to be a package. I'm gonna uninstall them and then install remix run server runtime again. We can see the changes here, that it removed the v1 route convention because this is now a file inside that I copied from this remix run v1 compat utils repo, and I put it here so I don't have it on a third-party package. And it's installing the server runtime. And I think this server runtime, I'm not sure if it should be a dependency or a dep dependency. But anyway, now uninstalling the remix.json is also necessary because this is no longer a useful package because the way Remix handles now returning JSON objects. It can be with Response.json and naked objects, and use loader data can just infer the types from the loader. And if it doesn't, you pass down a custom type. So did I already run this? I think I did. Uninstall this package. Okay, so even if you already uninstall it, you need to find and replace this. You can either do it one by one, like let me show you here. Instead of use type fetcher, it's actually used fetcher, and not from this package, but from React Router. But if you already have another React Router import and your lint doesn't support duplicated imports, you should move this to that line. But a faster way will be to replace that with just React Router, just making sure I don't update the guide. So you can, I was gonna say that you can do it on only TypeScript files, but I'm gonna do it on every file and just make sure that I don't do it on this one markdown file. So that's change number one. Now type fetcher goes to use fetcher and remove the markdown file. Similarly, loader data, use type loader data goes to loader data. And well, I can find the markdown, so I'm gonna put only TypeScript files. So replace. And finally, we use typed action data. We'd use action data. Okay, now we need to remove the JSON instances because JSON was a package deprecated in React Router. So you can find and replace just like this JSON to empty. Or in this case, you can even go to these files manually and remove it, and find the implementation and remove it. And this is just returning a naked object, but you can also do response.json, or even remove the loader, because in this case, it's not even doing anything. Now the templates, I'm gonna remove that line and return our response.json. Now, for this, you need to be careful because I'm including a space like this, and this should be replaced with this, with a space. So it's removing the JSON import. Let's do that with this one as well, and include the space between the quotes. And what else? The last one is this one. This doesn't contain a space before or after the comma. Okay, so let's let me think. Yeah, we now need to remove the JSON imports from the actual files. So do the same thing by replacing this with this. And do the same thing for the other ones. Why am I doing these errors first? Because I know that the errors contain headers. So when you're returning headers, like with the status, status header, I know that I should use response.json instead of just returning naked objects, like in this case. But you can see that I don't have any instances for this one. Let's see this one. Okay, I do. Now you need to decide whether you want to return like this or like this, response.json. I'm gonna do it with response.json because it's safer in case I want to add headers in the future. But you can also add, like in this guide, return naked objects. So I'm gonna do that on this case. And now let's find if I have any remaining errors. Run type check, and of course I will. And I know for a fact that the meta function will be no longer compatible with the new naked object in a few cases. And in that case, you need to change the meta function import to v2 meta function and pass. Yeah, I'm gonna show you because I know I will have errors related to that. Let me show you, for example, here. So here, this meta function is not loading the type correctly from this because this is a response. You can see that I'm returning a response.json. If I were to return instead of response.json, but just naked objects, it will work. But in this case, I'm returning a custom status, so I cannot delete that. So in this case, I'm going to import this v2 meta function, and it works. And do the same thing for the other ones. Now, in this case, it tried to replace the return with a naked object, but in this case, you can see that I'm actually returning a status, but status 200 is the default. So I'm gonna just keep that. And I don't know why this is getting an error, but this should be a React node. And what else? Let's see. All of this is related to my specific implementation on this project. For example, well, not in this case. I was going to say, oh yeah, like this. Default site tags. In my case, I need a translation key on the loader. So this key await get translations. So yeah, it's not always as easy as find and replace. And this is also related to site tags. Okay. We're almost there. In this case, I'm gonna remove the status object. And what else? Okay, so this imports, you can see that it's imported twice, the use loader data. So I'm actually gonna remove it and move use fetcher to that React router import. And do the same thing for, on the meta tags, I'm gonna rename this to v2 and import it from the utils compat meta function that I created. And I think that's it. Let's try and run npm run type check again. So it was a migration of 33 minutes. It's not bad. But this is highly dependent on your changes, because if it's really incompatible with these latest changes, you need to pay attention to your merge conflicts. Now, in this case, I don't longer need usage-based units, so let me see how I do it on plans server. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. Unit call, what was it? Employee? Employee, the title is employee, and the title plural employees. So I finally migrated to React Router 7. But of course you need to test all of your routes before deploying. Test every route possible, especially those that are related to your end customers, like the marketing pages, like the landing page, the pricing, contact, blog, if you're using a blog. But more importantly, the /app/tenant, all of that routes, the dashboard, settings, profile, tenant, subscription, and any other route that you created, you must try them before deploying. Oh, and one final note is that make sure that every route on API directory that you created are not returning naked objects. They must return response.json because they are resource routes. I had a problem that is written actually on the blog post right here, that I was returning this naked object and I should return response.json. Otherwise it fails because it's a resource route. So for good measure, whenever you're replacing this return JSON with this naked object, maybe just do response.json instead of just like this, add response.json, because it's safer. And I guess that's it. Yeah, if you made it this far, please leave your feedback on this idea called Marketplace of SaaS blocks. Oh, by the way, the application is running. Every route it's actually running. So if I go to my admin and if I go to my app as a customer, every route should work as before. So do the same thing. Yeah, this is now completed. I want to mention this idea of marketplace of SaaS blocks. I'm sure you've noticed that this project was popular in the last few days. So it's a collection of components built with SaasRock. So I thought, and this is not a thought that I had this year, but last year, what if we had the same things, but for SaasRock blocks of actual SaaS features? Like not just UI, but things that include the admin routes, the app tenant routes, the whole module directory with its services, utils, and components in React, and of course SaasRock, Prisma models, and of course instructions and videos. And this idea will include you as a developer of SaasRock to motivate you to create blocks, pass down to me. I review them. I must approve them because they should be of high quality. Of course, I won't approve a SaaS block of one line of code and really ugly and it's not actually useful. But maybe in the future it can be automated. But the whole idea is that you get 70% revenue and I get 30% revenue. So in this marketplace will be a win-win situation. So you can promote your features and other SaasRock community users benefit from that. So yeah, let me know what you think. And yeah, Happy New Year, even though it's January 16th. But I've been a bit absent, but I'm finally back. So let me know if this is something you want to see on 2025 we're on. Yeah. So thank you for watching, and I hope this migration was not too stressful.